Hi, my name is Nathaniel McGee, and this is Gifts to Students or Staff, Module 11 of Building Finance. So first of all, when it comes to giving gifts to students, there's only two instances where it's appropriate or justifiable to use activity funds, and that would be for fundraising incentives and special achievements. A fundraising incentive for students. If you've ever been responsible for a fundraiser, you know that the success of your fundraiser is directly proportionate to what kind of incentive you give the kids to get out there and participate. Each year we do our FFA chapter does a fundraiser of selling sites, fruit, and meat, and we set an amount that they have to sell to be able to go on an awards trip. And this year it was 25 items, which would profit our chapter after a net profit of somewhere around $150. And this year's incentive incentive party, would take them to Top Golf in Kansas City, which is going to cost somewhere around $40 to $45 per student that qualifies. So in the end, we're still profiting over about $100 per student, and we're giving them a goal to work for. However, there are some guidelines to follow, and they're very important to keep in mind. First of all, it should be given to only those students who participate in it. They should be age appropriate. They should not cause the fundraiser to be unprofitable, and the money to purchase the gifts or rewards should come out of the same group that raised it. Special achievements or gifts for special achievement gifts would be state championships or annual awards banquets, and they should be reasonable in value, age appropriate, and they could come from 3 different places. The money could come from 3 different places. The general fund, business sponsorships, or the organization/athletic funds. My first FFA chapter that I was responsible for, our annual FFA banquet that we held in May, was sponsored. All the awards were sponsored by local businesses that we would give advertisement to through our banquet program. We'd write them thank you cards as well. My current chapter, we actually pay for it out of the students or out of the FFA account. We pay for all the plaques, medallions, awards, whatever. Additionally, a few years ago, I had a state winning dairy cow judging team, and their award for that was a custom-made trophy belt buckle. And after doing this module, I kind of questioned whether I broke the first bullet here of being reasonable in value. It was roughly a $500 expense to get 5 belt buckles made. May have exceeded what would be considered reasonable for a state winning team. Gifts to staff members. They're very similar, but also very different when compared to gifts to students. First of all, there's a special committee that's put together that has written procedures on what they can do. There's 3 different categories: special occasions, fundraising incentives, and all staff gifts. Special occasions for staff would be a new staff member getting married, having a child, or unfortunately, the death of a close family member of a staff member. So this, first of all, the guidelines should be reasonably priced. They should most often they're paid with a staff remembrance fund, which I think is a really cool concept. I've never been in a school that had one that was specifically called that. But it's basically an account that can get their money from 3 different ways: staff donations, annual dues, or a specific staff fundraiser such as a vending machine in the lounge. And then last, it should be operated by a special committee of staff members that change annually and have limits and rules on how they can use and distribute the money, and they're required to meet at least 1 time a year. Fundraising incentive for staff. A lot of people probably aren't aware that there are incentives for some of these fundraisers. But they must be given to staff members who participate in the fundraising, and then they should be reasonable and not exceed 5% of the net sales of the fundraiser. My FFA chapter, once again, sells sites, fruit, and meat products, and that company specifically has an incentive program for ag teachers and FFA advisors. And you get points, which equal money, based on how well your students do on the fundraiser, and you can bank them away every year and cash out whenever you want. When I left my previous school, we had quite a bit of money saved up in that incentive program, and instead of taking the check or taking the Yeti cooler or whatever they wanted to give me, instead I had them write a check to the FFA chapter, and I deposited it in the student's account. Figured it was their money, it was only fair, and I got kind of scolded by the site sales rep because that was supposed to be my $700. That it just seemed a little bit excessive for an incentive, but they are in place, and you have to be careful. First of all, to know whether it's staff incentive or whether it's a club incentive, and to use it appropriately. And then you have an all staff gift, whether it be for Christmas gifts or whether it be new teacher gifts or whatever it may be. If the staff member generates the money, it's usually appropriate to use it on them. It's not suggested to use general fund because it doesn't benefit everybody. And then last, cash or gift cards can get kind of difficult to give out because of the IRS and the need for that to be added to a teacher's W-2 and therefore be taxed. So a lot of times cash and gift cards are not the best of ideas unless you use another organization or a local bank put together an account that would allow that to happen. The end.